Hey everyone, and welcome. I am so thrilled you're here. Today, we're diving into this explainer called The Backbone of Your Home, a guide to roof trusses. We are taking a fascinating look at an absolute marvel of everyday engineering that is, quite literally, sitting right over your head right now. It's the ultimate unsung hero of your home, and honestly, by the end of this, you are never going to look at a house the exact same way again.
So let me ask you a question, and be totally honest with me here. When was the last time you actually looked at your roof? Like really paid attention to it? For most of us, the guts of our roof are completely out of sight, out of mind. They're tucked away up in that dark attic where we only ever go to, dig out buried Christmas decorations or old dusty suitcases. We just take it entirely for granted, completely ignoring the very structure over our heads until there's a huge problem.
Okay, so here is our game plan for today. We're going to start with the unseen home backbone, then uncover the power of triangles, weigh up timber versus steel, examine the slow creep of damage, learn about spotting the warning signs, and finally, wrap it all up with proactive defense. It's a clear, quick roadmap to uncover the secrets of this invisible structural hero.
All right, diving into Section 1, the unseen home backbone. It is time to shed some light on the vital, yet completely hidden guts of your roof. So, what exactly is a roof truss? Well, it's essentially an invisible, interconnected frame made of either wood or steel. It is the absolute backbone of your house. It's holding all that tremendous weight and keeping the roof shape. Because think about it, without these trusses, you don't actually have a roof. You just have a ridiculously expensive pile of heavy tiles suspended in the air, basically waiting to come crashing down into your living room. This is what stops your roof from just folding like a cheap deck chair the second the weather turns nasty. Your roof takes an absolute beating every single day. You've got its own heavy weight, the force of driving rain, wet leaves, and crazy winds trying to literally lift the whole thing off. Plus, the brutal sun is baking it all day long, causing the materials to expand, and then they shrink right back down when a cool storm rolls through. The truss takes all of that immense, shifting pressure and just holds everything firmly in place.
Moving right along to Section 2, the power of triangles.
So, how exactly does this frame manage to hold up so much weight against such extreme forces? Well, it's basically engineering magic. Let's break down the anatomy cleanly. Unlike the old-school rafters that guys used to build piece by slow, fiddly piece on site, modern trusses are mostly prefabricated in factories with laser precision. There are three main parts here. First, the top chords. Those are the slanted edges that give the roof its slope so water runs off. Second, the bottom chord. That's the flat piece at the bottom holding up your ceiling and physically stopping your outside walls from bowing outward. And finally, the web members. These are all those crisscross interior bits connecting the top and bottom. Together, all these elements lock into a series of rock-solid triangles.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how it compares to massive infrastructure. Why triangles, right? Well, because they just don't budge. If you look at any heavy-duty bridge or a towering construction crane, it's using the exact same engineering principle. Triangles are all about incredibly efficient weight distribution. Instead of all the pressure pressing down on one weak spot in the middle of your ceiling, the triangular truss takes that load and seamlessly channels it straight down into your sturdy outside walls. It's a brilliant invisible balancing act.
Okay, Section 3, timber versus steel.
And this brilliantly illustrates the big debate. If you're building or replacing a roof, you gotta pick a material. And the truth is, there's no single wrong answer here. It's just different tools for different environments. It's the ultimate head-to-head battle. On one side, you have traditional timber. It's warm, familiar, relatively cheap, and acts as a fantastic natural insulator. But it's got kryptonite. It hates moisture, which means rot and warping. And if you live in termite territory, timber is basically an all-you-can-eat buffet for them. On the flip side, we have modern steel. It is incredibly strong, totally rot-proof, and termites won't even touch it. It's going to stay perfectly straight for decades. But the trade-offs? It costs a lot more upfront, requires specialized installation with bolts and welds, and it conducts heat rapidly. So if you don't add extra insulation, it will literally pump summer heat straight into your house.
So how do you actually choose? Well, it usually comes down to your environment, or what we can call the coastal climate test. For instance, if you live somewhere coastal like Sydney, the sheer humidity, horizontal rain, and corrosive salt air can make steel a much smarter long-term bet. Moisture sneaks into places you just can't see, and it ruins wood. But if you're in a regular dry suburb and you actually commit to proper maintenance and treatments, timber can absolutely thrive and be a highly cost-effective choice.
All right, on to Section 4, the slow creep of damage.
Let's move away from the idea of sudden disasters and look at the timeline to see how a roof actually fails over time, because it usually doesn't happen all at once. It creeps in slowly. It's kind of like a tiny spreading crack in a car windshield. For the first few months, you might just have a tiny tile leak or a silent termite entry that you completely miss. Fast forward to a year, and that localized moisture or damage causes a single piece of the truss to weaken and strain. Around the 3-year mark, because that one piece isn't pulling its weight anymore, the surrounding truss pieces have to overcompensate. They take on extra load, they bend, and then they start to weaken too. Finally, at 5 years or more, the whole roofline dips, and you end up with a major, highly visible sag right in your ceiling.
So what actually triggers this whole chain reaction? Well, these are your common culprits. Unfixed water leaks from a cracked tile or a rusted valley. Silent termite infestations that hollow out the timber from the inside. Dodgy initial installation, where a problem was basically guaranteed from day one. Severe storm damage from things like falling branches. Or, and this is a really big one that people miss all the time, adding extra weight to a roof that wasn't designed for it. Think heavy new solar panels or massive air conditioning units.
Which brings us to Section 5, spotting the warning signs. Now that you know how the damage happens, I want to empower you with the insider knowledge to spot trouble early, before it cascades into a total disaster. Seriously, don't wait for the ceiling to cave in. Watch for these early warnings. Go out to the street and look up. Does your roofline look wavy or uneven? Are you noticing fresh, unexplained cracks popping up in your plaster ceilings or walls? Have your bedroom doors suddenly decided they need a solid shove to close? Are you hearing weird popping, creaking, or groaning from up top on a quiet night? You see, these are super relatable signs that most of us just dismiss as, oh, it's just a settling house. But if you poke your head up into the attic and see visible rot or bent steel, you've got a real problem on your hands.
So the absolutely crucial point here is that a sagging roof is the last step, not the first. It's the end result of a long, slow breakdown. If you're standing in your living room and you can physically see the ceiling sagging, you are already looking at a massive 5-figure repair job or, honestly, a full roof replacement. Early detection is everything.
And finally, Section 6, proactive defense.
We're pivoting now to some real actionable steps you can take to protect your home, because the best repair is the one you never have to make, right? Most of these truss issues are entirely preventable, so here is a bite-sized, totally achievable checklist. Number 1, inspect your attic once a year. Just grab a bright torch, pop your head up there, and look around. Number 2, check for damage immediately after any major storm. Number 3, fix tiny leaks the absolute moment you spot them. Do not wait for a drip to become a puddle. And number 4, ensure your attic is breathing. Stale, trapped, humid air rots timber incredibly fast, so making sure you have proper ventilation is key. This is totally manageable maintenance for any homeowner or DIYer.
To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final, powerful thought from our source material. A solid roof isn't just about keeping the rain out, it's protecting the lot, everything and everyone you care about underneath it. Your roof trusses might be out of sight, buried behind the plaster, but they are working every single day with 0 days off to safeguard your family and the memories you're building underneath. So next time you hear a creak or spot a tiny crack, are you going to ignore it, or will you look up and protect the backbone of your home? Thank you so much for joining me today. Stay curious, stay proactive, and I'll see you next time.